Here is the latest on the new tariffs for Chinese EVs coming into the US from China. And actually, it's not just EVs, it's things like semiconductors, steel, aluminium, things like that. Anything basically from, well, a lot of things from China that go into the US now, you'll get a big tax, 100%. So the Biden administration has decided to increase this tariff on EVs from 25 to 100%. This is part of a broader effort to support American manufacturers, apparently, and to reduce their reliance on Chinese imports. Previously, cars made in China faced a 25% tariff, which kept most of them out of the US market, of course. However, Chinese EVs are now so affordable that even with the 25% tariff, they were still competing against European, US-made vehicles. So to counter this, the administration has quadrupled the tariff to make it much harder for these vehicles to compete in the US. It's still possible that, technically you can buy one. It's just very expensive. So can I just also take a minute to thank you all for your patience whilst I had a bit of a life break recently for, I think, like 13 days or something. Life has been super, super stressful. Thank you to all of you as well that donate $1 or so on YouTube memberships and Patreon. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. So this tariff hike isn't just on EVs. Like I said, it's also affecting other things, such as solar panels, batteries, medical goods, steel, aluminium, computer chips as well. These changes are set to take effect this year, with some of them rolling out next year. So there's a process in place for certain exceptions, but generally we're going to see the higher costs on these products quite clearly in the future when they go up. So right now, only 2 Chinese-made EVs are in the US market. The Polestar 2 and the Volvo S90 recharge plug-in hybrid. Both of them are part of the Geely family. Really, really nice cars. I think there was an article I read online about someone reaching out to Polestar and seeing what they thought about this, and they said some stuff which I'll not get into, but there's an article out there. I'll put that in the description below. It is an interesting one. So basically, they're Chinese vehicles, basically, the Polestar 2 and the other Volvo. They're Chinese cars, but they're just headquartered. So, Volvo is headquartered in Sweden. So with these tariffs, future models like the Volvo EX30, which was supposed to start at $35,000 could see their prices jump to around $54,000 unless production is moved out of China. Reaction to these tariffs is mixed. Wherever you look on the internet, domestic manufacturers and labor groups are happy, but then economists, consumer advocates, and global manufacturers are kind of pissed about it, honestly. China has already promised to defend its interests, which could mean more trade disputes. And this isn't the first protective measure that we've seen in this way. So the Inflation Reduction Act also made it harder for Chinese EVs to benefit from US tax credits, requiring a significant portion of components to be sourced from the US or its trade partners. These new tariffs aim to boost American manufacturing, basically, but they could lead to higher prices for consumers and potential trade tensions with China. I say could, absolutely, definitely will do. A lot of these things that we buy and, the things that we need and that we buy, that Americans buy, not just Europeans, they come from China. So it would be easy, very easy for China to impose tariffs on Tesla, for example. And it is simply, I would say, not smart to go to tariffs as a solution. Why don't the US support their automakers to produce EVs, cheaper EVs, and not simply just be really overtly primitive in the way that they want to stop Chinese EVs? I think they should just do that, help their companies. As China do, they help their companies. The US should support more their manufacturers. I hate to say the words trade war because it simply is a bit clickbaity in 2024 to use terms like, trade war, but this is exactly what may happen. If you play with feathers, you will get your ass tickled, I reckon. So tariffs generally increase the cost of goods. And that contributes to the overall inflation. With higher tariffs on a wide range of products, the cost of living probably will rise a bit for Americans in the world of cars anyway, and things such as anything that needs a chip in it, for example, or a battery that comes from China, those things, they will get more expensive now. And that exacerbates economic challenges. This is a bit of a tricky time because consumers can't really afford for things to get more expensive. Surely not. So what do you all think? So if I asked you a simple question, do you agree that these tariffs are good or bad? What would you say?